So the Philadelphia Eagles go ahead and cut linebacker Nigel Bradham. Well, let's talk about it. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. For those who are new to this channel and love talking Philly sports every single day, hit that subscribe button. Now, if you guys been following me for a minute, old subscriber, new subscriber, and you like this content, show some love, smash that like button. It's easy. And what that does is it pushes this content to other Philly fans. With all that being said, let's talk about today's topic. As you guys may already know, the Philadelphia Eagles went ahead and cut linebacker Nigel Bradham, who going into the 2020 season come September would have been 31 years old. Now, before we talk about was it the right decision, was it the wrong decision, let's remember what he did do for the Philadelphia Eagles in the 4 years he played for us under Jim Schwartz, who actually brought him here from Buffalo because they played coach and linebacker in other systems. Let's remember what this guy did do for the Philadelphia Eagles. The 4 years that Nigel Bradham spent with the Philadelphia Eagles, he had 344 total tackles. 17 of them tackles were for loss, 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 3 forced fumbles. 4-year career with the Philadelphia Eagles, one of them years resulted in a Super Bowl championship, Super Bowl 52 in 2017, and he was a big part of the defense for that 2017 Super Bowl champion team. I just wanted to give respect to Nigel Bradham being a part of that Super Bowl championship team. But it's time to move on from players who are not going to help this team. Last year, Nigel Bradham only played 12 games. So he missed 4 games due to an ankle injury. Now, he's going to be 31 years old come 2020 in September. Coming off a bad ankle, missing 4 games, a year older, 31 years old, he's at the down part of his career. It's as simple as that. I love what he was able to do with the Eagles earlier on, 27, 28, 2016, 2017. But it's time to move on, especially at that price tag. You got guys out there like Corey Littleton, Joe Schober, who we could pay $10 million to if we wanted that. Younger players. Now, the Eagles have never really cared about the linebacker position because they play a lot of nickel. They play a lot of different packages, dime and nickel packages that don't allow linebackers to be on the field. But we always have at least one linebacker on the field, and that was Nigel Bradham. And we are going to have to replace that position, whether it be free agency or the draft. But before I get too much more in other things, let's talk about what is going to happen with the Eagles cap space and what we're going to save and what we accomplish with this cut. By cutting Nigel Bradham, the Eagles save $4.5 million in cap space and pretty much eat the other $5.3 million in dead cap. So he played, we would have spent a total of $9.8 million, pretty much $10 million. But with him being cut at the age of 31, with only playing 12 games, we saved $4.5 million in cap space. Now, some people are going to say only $4.5 million in cap space. So we still had to pay the $5.3 million. We lost $5.3 million, only saved $4.5. Why not keep him? At least he's a body there who's better than what we got. At the end of the day, $4.5 million can go a long way in contract negotiations. Because if you get a guy, anybody, just for example, there's ways you can restructure deals and structure deals where they get paid little the first year and more in the second and third and fourth year if it's a young guy for a long-term deal. So that $4.5 million could easily be an extra playmaker, another linebacker, a wide receiver, a cornerback, a safety, players that we can acquire in free agency, because $4.5 million can go a long way and putting a little bit money up front and more money on the back end, which wouldn't affect our cap space in 2020. Now, let's talk about the Eagles linebackers who are on this roster right now. Because of the fact that Nigel Bradham is cut And Camus Grugier-Hill is still a free agent, and the Eagles do not know if they're going to sign him back. I've heard a lot of speculation that he's not going to be an Eagle. I don't know if it's on the Eagles' end, our end, or the fact that he just wants to move on. But if we don't have Nigel and we don't have Camus Grugier-Hill, we are now stuck with Nathan Gerry, who's played good in pretty much this year. I do like the potential he has. He was a one-time safety in college. I think he played for Nebraska, and that's why you can see the side-to-side running in him. He's able to move around on the field like a safety, but he is a little underweight for linebacker, but he filled in pretty good when we called upon him. Then the other guys are TJ Edwards, who showed potential, but is not ready for a full-time role. Duke Riley, who's more of a special teams guy, and Alex Singletary, who I think is a special team guy too, not really ready to play that linebacker role. So we do have to look at free agency or the draft. The Eagles have never been big, like I said, in drafting linebackers. And I don't see us drafting them with the first round or the second round. But with the Eagles having two third-round picks, I am a big believer the Eagles will definitely now consider taking a linebacker in the third round. If you haven't seen my linebacker video, I did it maybe like 2 weeks ago. Go back on my page and check it out. I did 2 draft prospects I think the Eagles could look at with the third round pick at linebacker, which is Troy Dye and Jordan Brooks. They're 2 different styles. Jordan Brooks is a Jeremiah Trotter guy who's going to go downfield, hit the runner back, clog up the middle, and do stuff like that. Troy Dye is a guy who can, play against the tight ends, cover good. He can also hit the runner back too and do things of that sort. They're 2 different styles, but 2 guys I think could fit as the Eagles linebacker. A guy who can just blow the middle up and a guy who can cover. So check that out if you want. At the end of the day, we are going to have to do something at the linebacker position, whether it's free agency or the draft. The hole is now even bigger, but we kind of expected this. Like I said, there's no way you can pay if it's a player's option. Now, if we were stuck with this contract, that's different. But when it's your option that you can take it or let it go, $10 million for a 31-year-old who only played 12 games is just too much. People talk about Malcolm Jenkins. He is going to be a 31-year-old, but he played every single snap. And he did a lot. He played in the box. He played in the safety. He played against the runner backs. He did the tight ends. He did the slot. I mean, he did a lot. He blitzed the passer on safety blitzes. This dude did a lot. Played 16 games, every single snap. And people don't want him back at 31. So how could we get a linebacker who's probably been beat up more, just the life shelf of that position at 31? Who only played 12 games. So it had to be done. I'm just hoping the Eagles get out of this, not paying attention to linebacker, and get a linebacker. Now, we don't got to be a team that has 2 or 3 solid linebackers on the field because we don't play that kind of packages. But we still need that one linebacker who Nigel Bradham was on this team. Got to do it with free agency or the draft. With all that being said, thank you guys for watching. I go by Philly Mike, and this is the Philly Talk Podcast. If you guys are not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Smash that like button if you like this content, and let me know in the comment section, how do you really feel about Nigel Bradham being cut? Like I said, $4.5 million don't sound like much now, but it can go a long way with contract negotiations to get not just an extra player, to be honest. So, like I said, until next time, stay good. Let's go Eagles. And you know what time it is. We out.